Looks good. So let's use the time. Thanks everybody for dialing in, and welcome to our weekly X Space, where we explore industry trends and deep dive into all things related to decentralized physical infrastructure, or DePINs. My first call to action to please share this on your Twitter or X as people are rolling in. My name is Sebastian. I'm part here of the community marketing team at Impossible Cloud Network. And today we have an exciting lineup of speakers from really diverse industry, really. So maybe quickly welcome every single one of them, starting with Jörg here from Farmsent. Hi, Jörg. Good to have you.
Hey, good to be here. And apart from all the deep in space, the way it is increasing, I'm really happy to also learn what other builders are building. Yeah.
Fantastic. You have a bit of an echo. Maybe you can fix that while we go to the next one. Elijah from Loxodrome. Elijah, good to have you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting us to attend your space. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. And we have Pankaj from Witness Chain. Pankaj, good to have you as well.
Likewise, very wonderful being here with the fantastic speakers. Looking forward to the fruitful discussion. I'm sure we'll have a great space.
Great. What we'll be discussing today is the challenge of building communities with, seemingly contrasting environments, I would almost say. So we have the fast evolving digital world of DeFi. We have the more traditional realm of farming, as well as the academically driven proof angle. So I'm really excited for this one. As you all know, this is an AMA session, so feel free to ask questions at any time. We'll pick them up from the chat as we go along, or if we have time towards the end. Quick words maybe from the different projects. The names we've heard, maybe you can give some context for those who are not yet familiar with the individual projects you represent. Let's start with Jörg. Can you start and then talk a bit about Farmsent, what you guys do?
Oh, definitely. So, we are building a farmers network. These are IRL farmers, okay, that are providing us the food. In a real life scenario, the bucks you pay, say, for your coffee doesn't really reach the farmer. You will be surprised to know that only tiny portion of what you actually spend reaches them. And the result, farmers are poor in many countries. Southeast Asia and Africa is badly affected, An implication of that, you can guess that farming is not lucrative, so farmers are not doing enough farming in their land, and the impact over us is like food inflation. So that makes a case for Farmsent. We are optimizing the center between the farmer and the consumer. So farmer when farmer sells the commodity, it exchanges too many hands, and we are optimizing that so that farmer can have direct access to the buyer. And at the end, what we want is consumer should pay less and farmer should earn more. And that's one of the way of making sure that food security works. And that's our sweet spot.
Great. Elijah, do you want to chime in? What does Loxodrome do again?
Oh, sure. Yeah, and hello everyone. It's Elijah, BD and marketing head at Loxodrome. And Loxodrome is the first VCC DEX built on IoTeX chain, and we dedicated to being a bridge between DeFi and DePIN, and our tokenomic and VCC mechanism boost liquidity for DePIN projects by incentivizing users and our partners with airdrops, emission, swap trading fee, and bribes. Yeah, if you guys would like to know more about Loxodrome, feel free to go to our Discord server and ask anything. Yeah, thank you so much.
Great. Thanks again for being here today with us. Pankaj, do you want to chime in?
Yeah, definitely. So at Witness Chain, we are building a DePIN coordination layer. You can think of it as a trust layer for DePINs. So let's start with the problem, right? DePINs today are siloed and not verified. Their operations are siloed. DePIN networks have siloed economy. They're not really composable with one another because of lack of a trust layer across DePINs. And to solve this, we believe what was lacking was this trust on the physical assets or the physical attributes of DePIN nodes, which is the best use case for blockchains or decentralization that we could see. And that is what we're building, a trust layer with very high cryptoeconomic security, which validates or verifies various physical attributes of DePIN, thereby enabling coordination among them and sort of unifying their economies. So when I say verifying physical attributes of physical state, these are things like location, compute capacities, and uh, bandwidth, so on, other any physical properties that a DePIN node might have. So that's broadly what we're building.
Great. So thanks again, all three, for being here with us today. Quick introduction about Possible Cloud Network. For those of you who don't know yet, we are a multi-site service cloud platform connecting cloud service providers with top-tier infrastructure. So essentially, we're decentralizing the cloud while maintaining high performance and service quality. So for us, we have three key participants in mind. Of course, the hardware providers, the cloud service providers, as well as the community. And quick tangent on that one, we just had to close our OG role campaign early because we were oversubscribed. So thank you everybody who supported. And yeah, maybe we even have some OG ICN participants here with us today. So let's get started on the topics here. So as mentioned to the audience, please feel free to add your questions as we jump along. Let's start with the explanation of what DePIN is, right? Because not everyone's familiar, and I actually think there's different views on what it exactly entails. So why don't you start, Jörg? What's your perspective on DePIN? What's the definition of it?
I mean, anything actually, as long as it is decentralized, and although like coined by Messari not so long ago, there wasn't an umbrella for project like us. For example, we are working with the farmers. Although we are farmers blockchain, but the blockchain part takes literally a backseat and gives a lot more infrastructure forward, right? So DePIN actually, this common narrative of DePIN suits us, or the projects what we have partnered with, right? I would say anything that infrastructure that actually can onboard many people and not a centralized agency, and they all contribute to harness the power. That would, I think, suitably call it as a DePIN. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, infrastructure is the keyword here as well. Fully subscribe to that. Witness chain, Prakash, what's your view on this? And maybe you can add to this, what's kind of some unique advantages alongside the DePIN?
Yeah, so I think Yog did have a good job at summarizing what DePINs are. So earlier, these networks were called token incentivized physical infrastructure networks, or TPINs, but that was more narrower, and this DePIN kind of broadens and brings this big umbrella where all the projects that touch the real world, the infrastructure, and do it in a decentralized manner. When we say decentralization, it has multiple layers to it. So it can be your operations, it can be the ownership, or so DePINs inherently are community owned or owned in a decentralized manner, and that's a very big part of it. And the third and the last layer is governance layer, where you control the protocol itself. So if you think about something like Uber or Airbnb, they are also DePINs, but their governance or their control of the network is centralized. Airbnb or Uber controls how their services are used. Uber controls the marketplace between the riders and the drivers, let's say. But the vehicles or the infrastructure actually is not owned by Uber. It's decentralized. In the DePIN that we talk about in the crypto space, usually even the governance angle or the governance layer is also decentralized, and that's sort of what I think like DePINs mean in the sense like all the aspects of the network are decentralized, and they touch real world like the physical infrastructure. Adding to the advantages that DePINs provide over traditional infrastructure, there are plenty of them. One thing is being community owned, they're more transparent. They have much more flexible pricing models. Let's say like Yoga was selling how now it's cheaper for the end consumer, and the revenue or the source of income for farmers is more because it is likewise community owned. So you can get cheaper goods, so costs go down. The actual supplier makes more, and there's a lack of central party who can censor or influence your usage and your like just in a blink of an eye or without any notice, which can be detrimental in many cases. So I think there are plenty of advantages. There are also advantages where if you're using, if you think of DePINs which reuse existing hardware, that sort of globally optimizing the leftover compute or any other infrastructure resource that is there in the world, right? Everyone has, let's say, PCs lying around in their home which are not used 24/7, but a bunch of DePINs sort of put them to use globally, and that's like at a global level, you're optimizing the resource usage. So there are lots of advantages that DePINs bring, and yeah, I think that's kind of summarizes what DePIN is, and I think the advantages that they bring to the table.
Yeah, 100%. Subscribing to this as well. I mean, for us at Impossible Cloud Network, the infrastructure aspect is really crucial as well. I mean, at the end of the day, DePIN is what you mentioned, right? It's decentralized physical infrastructure, so you can really scale quite significantly in a short amount of time, according to however what's needed for your product. So it's really a key advantage over traditional things, and alongside all the other aspects that you mentioned. But I mean, not want to take away too much here, Elijah. What's your view on this?
I'm sorry for that, because could you say again your question? Thank you so much.
No, right, because initially just want to get since we have so many different projects here, I want to get the different perspectives of what each and every one considers a DePIN project. So kind of your view on DePIN in general.
Okay. In my opinion, the core of DePIN is community engagement. It's about human daily life. Yeah. For me, I because Loxodrome is not specific DePIN project, so I think DePIN is not only earning money but incentivizing people to contribute their surplus resources and building their community together. So yeah, I think the key I think the key of DePIN sector is make everyone to know and use.
You mentioned that it's building community together. What do you think makes it special? What is the different core participant in your network, and kind of what were your solution and challenges in building that? I realize you're not a core DePIN project, but probably you're very exposed to these communities as well.
Yep. Okay. Could you speak again, because my English is not good. Yeah, so sorry for that.
No, all good. I just, since you've mentioned that building a community together is one of the key advantages of DePIN, and I really agree, because you can bring in so many different facets, right? So when you started building your community, what were kind of the things you were looking out for?
Okay. I think that's a good question for me, because I think if we want to improve our engagement, community engagement, I think the most important thing is partnered with good DePIN projects, and make our users can swap or stake their favorite token in Loxodrome. I think this is the most important thing for our product.
Yeah, incentivization is a good keyword. Maybe Pankaj, how does your perspective on this? What are your key community participants in your network?
So witness chain is a layer that bridges trust gap, and the participants can come in. So sort of there are multiple ways to participate. So when you want to provide trust to this network in the form of crypto economic security, you can come and stake some tokens to provide the security. So one way of participation or one community that we are actively engaged with is the seeker community. There are operators who run a lot of these protocols as a part of the DePIN coordination layer, be it proof of location, for example. Very solid community runs these challenger clients to enable that. So we have this operator community. Then we have DePINs, of course, that's like the heart of our project. The best folks, I guess. That's how all the relevance comes from. So DePIN projects, they form our community. Lastly, there's a developer angle on top of our DePIN coordination layer, where once you have verified physical assets, a bunch of innovative applications open up. Sort of, you can think of like commodities markets and so on. So this developer community is like the fourth pillar of our fourth piece of our community, or like the rest of our community. Um, we also actively engage broader DePIN community, in the sense that anyone is free to participate because we have multiple permissionless participation mechanisms. Staking was, for example, very permissionless. Anyone can come and stake and contribute to the security of the DePINs. There's also ways for you to participate as a challenger without too much effort. Some of the protocols are very lightweight, and you have literally like a mobile app which you install, and then you can sort of contribute to the security and join the community. So broadly speaking, this is like the four big pieces of community that we engage with, and yeah, I think that sort of answers.
Yeah. So we have stakers, running nodes, DePIN project, and developer community. I think most of that we can subscribe to as well. For us, it's the people running the hardware, meaning the hardware providers, developers, as well as those that run nodes and make sure that the integrity of our network is upheld. So very much in line with that, I'm curious to hear your thoughts, Jörg. How is that in the world, or the rather traditional world of farming? How's the community building in your aspect?
We have broadly divided into two parts. One, the physical part of the network of supply chain. And that could be like, we can incentivize the farmer, the quality assurer, trade finance contributors, the guy who's designing the package, the guy who's handling road transport, shipping. Do you know that there are 36 documents required if you are doing a cross-border movement of commodity? So there are so many middlemen in this. So we can incentivize pretty much everyone in there. But the other side of the story is the tech layer of it, and which is one of our important thing. Today we just don't know what we are putting in the body, and it is becoming imperative for us to know, and it is actually should be classified as one of these mandatory thing in every country is to give a detailed end-to-end traceability system for every single commodity you are consuming. So we coined this word called decentralized product passport, where every commodity need to have a passport, like we humans have a passport, and the detailed record of when it is exchanging in hand, when some treatment is given to that commodity, where it is stored, how it was grown, how it was transported, everything will be recorded on chain. And so a scan of a QR code, or in a little later when tap on an NFC chip, you will be able to know details about your commodity. So that way, all those guys who are contributing in recording of this data through sensors or through physical entering or validating through certified networks and stuff should be incentivized. So for that, we are deploying the sensor network, and that will be our tech layer part of it.
Very interesting, especially the decentralized product passport. I like the idea. So, and maybe if we stick with you for 1 second, Jörg, how do you make sure to incentivize all of those participants? I mean, you mentioned that along that supply chain, there's so many, different stakeholders and participants. How do you kind of design it in a way that it's really beneficial for all of them? How do you get them incentivized for your project?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Actually, for any DePIN project, it's really difficult to balance that demand and supply, right? So for the time being, what we are looking at is we are incentivizing at a loss. so that we can actually create one complete circle. And so I know that it would be impossible for you to have, say, 10 transactions and sufficiently compensate a quality assurance. So the best way we have found is to find existing guys who are already doing quality assurance, existing guys who are already doing this packaging, road transport, and incentivizing them to carry out our task. So that's the first. And then once it grows, we will be making it sufficiently decentralized where we will not be picking these guys as partners. We will just create like retail onboard. At the moment, we are just a hybrid onboarding model, if you can say so. It's more handpicked at the moment, but later it will be just released to anyone who can onboard, and people will decide whether they are giving that service which is suitable, and all the incentivization will be centered around that service.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Pankaj, if you look at the different actors in your space that you mentioned, are there any challenges that you witnessed so far, and how did you overcome those in making sure that the different elements, all of the 4 ones that you mentioned, are incentivized?
Yeah, so I think challenges wise, it's always challenging when you're just getting started with building any of these communities. So finding early partners for each of these communities. Some of the communities are more broader, bigger ones, like DePINs or operators. They are not you don't reach out directly to the retail. It's going via sort of business deals. So that was sort of the challenging part for us initially. As far as our stakers community and operator community is concerned, we used EigenLayer to bootstrap. So we are an ABS and EigenLayer. We were their launch partners and launched in April. So that sort of eased up our path to building this wonderful staker and operator community. That kind of turbocharged us on that aspect. With the DePINs, I think we have some OGs in the space in our team. So we had some connects with the existing partners. We have been working with them for years. And from there, of course, like once the DePIN umbrella term came in and everyone sort of were aware of what's happening, what DePINs are, and how we are building a verification layer, we sort of just reach out, and I think we were well received by many DePIN projects, and people understand that there's a real need. So that was not super hard for us to do the convincing part, right? So it's very known. I think you guys also, even Yog also, I think you guys have been very receptive of this. So it has been sort of pleasure for us that we are able to serve you with by providing these verifications. And the last aspect is the developer community. For them, it's like a very new sort of ecosystem that they can build on. It's sort of an unprecedented way they can engage in Web3. We've never seen a decentralized commodities market anywhere. We have not seen, let's say, prediction markets based on real world verified data, let's say weather data, for example, or data from the farms. So incentivizing or sort of getting people interested in this ecosystem, I think we started from the supply side of our platform, which was the operator and staker, and that EigenLayer helped us there to sort of turbocharge and speed up the process. And after that, DePINs, I think you guys are very friendly. The DePIN community is very friendly. Everyone understands the ongoing problems and challenges, and we want to sort of tackle them as one and sort of win over. So I think that didn't trouble us too much either. And with the developer community, I think it's like a very new ecosystem for them. So they're very naturally very curious and interested. And of course, down the line, with the good tokenomics that we are building, everything will be incentivized within the protocol itself. So that's broadly what the way we took, and I think it's been going good for us.
Yeah, I like those two connotations. So you leverage existing ecosystems, and then at the same time you present, new opportunities to build. Elijah, what's kind of your perspective? How do you leverage maybe community feedback for continuous improvement of your product?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yep, and that's a good question. Yeah, I believe people working in marketing will definitely face this challenge, even though they are professional in this field several years. So, for Loxodrome, as defined DEX protocol, the things we can do is providing good products for our users, including UI, UX, and tokenomics. And for marketing and BD field, our crucial strategy is partnering with good DePIN project teams. So achieve cooperation and mutual benefits together. I believe if we want to improve our community, we should work work with our partners and work longer. We need to be together, especially at this stage.
Definitely agree. I mean, myself, I come from the Web2 enterprise space, so I really, really love what Web3 in general, and especially DePIN is all about, and that, there's no excluding each other, but more of a working together and win-win, opportunity. So that's one of the reasons why we're here together in the space. Makes it great. I realized we're over time already. I just noticed. But since we started a bit later, I'll just provide the floor once again to all of our participants. Pankaj, anything we haven't discussed so far that you would like to add?
No, I think it's been a great space. It's wonderful working with the community, seeing it grow, seeing everyone sort of win against the Web2 giants, making sure all the participants have incentives aligned. And as we were talking about opening newer opportunities for people to build, ways for people to participate, I think it's been nothing short of pleasure working in the community with the community. And I think it's very wonderful. And thanks for having me here. It was very great being here as well.
Thanks, Prakash. Jörg, anything from your side that we haven't discussed yet that you would like to add?
I think and it's a note to self as well, that user experience, most of the projects need to pay attention to. That's what is going to take from for a project from good to great. And for that reason, like the existing tools, you need to have further simplification so common people can participate. Like we are onboarding 2 million farmers, but we can't even call them Web 2. They are probably Web 1.5, right? So we launched a special Web 3 TLD domain for them. And then going to have a wallet, which is on-chain account abstraction, simplify the user experience so that they don't feel that it is blockchain. Blockchain is for you and me and for the developer community, and it's not for the user. So if we can remove this whole narrative of deep in blockchain and complexities and just focus on giving simplified interface to the user, I think we can onboard more people so that we don't have to fish in a tub and everybody can go out there and fish in the ocean.
Yeah, that's 100% agreed. Maybe I can chime in here quickly because that's actually where we have our roots in, right? So as a company, we started with Impossible Cloud, building an object storage solution, so one of our cloud services, and that's now running on ICN. And that was the key instrument to, first of all, understand customer requirements. I mean, for us, it's a B2B model, but as you mentioned, it really depends on the audience. At the end of the day, you need to abstract away a lot and make it easy for them to onboard, right? Make it understand their needs and serve those needs. And those needs are not always, having a wallet or having a blockchain. If that runs in the background and it supports the specific use case, that's perfect. But sometimes you need to abstract that away, right? So I'm fully subscribed to what you said. Elijah, anything from your side that you would like to add before we close the space?
I would like to. Is it okay to promote our product? Yeah, our NFT product with you guys. Yeah. Okay, let me share with you. Okay, there are a few other ways that our users can participate in our community. Like, for example, there's an ongoing campaign code TG on road to TGE on our official Twitter. If you complete our tasks, you will have opportunities to earn our voting token called VLuxo token. Yeah, so yeah, please enjoy our campaigns, and if you have any questions, feel free to join our Discord. And thanks for Impossible Cloud Network inviting us to join your space. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, fantastic. I think we've got a lot of diverse experiences today here with us. So thanks everybody again for joining, Prakash, Yog, and Elijah. Thanks also to the audience for joining. Really, really appreciate it. And if you want, feel free to join our next weekly space. It's going to be roughly the same time next week. And for us, we're going to be on FarmSense session, I believe, tomorrow at 5 CET. So feel free to join that as well. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining again. Thanks community for being here with us today. Looking forward. Cheers.
Thanks for having us, guys. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you for having us. Great chat.
Cheers.